everyone. My name is Priscilla. I am the Emotional Wellness Coach here at HOC Fertility. Thanks for joining us today. We have an amazing interview with one of my colleagues, Erica Vargas. Erica is a registered dietitian. She has over 7 years, right, Erica? 7 years of training in nutrition therapy. The bulk of her work is with adults and geriatrics, particularly around chronic conditions. Erica, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Erica's joining us today so we can get into talking a little bit about nutrition and fertility. Like, is there a relationship between the two, and how can we improve natural fertility? Let's talk a little bit about healthy diets and a little bit more into that. So what we do know and what research shows is that things like unsaturated fats, wheat, and other types of food can actually improve fertility. We also know that like being overweight or being underweight can contribute to fertility issues. So let's talk a little bit about weight and just diet, Erica. Let's talk about a healthy weight and how perhaps a healthy weight can contribute to fertility, pregnancy, and then even after.
So yes, a healthy diet can improve the chances of conception for both men and women by being one part of the fertility puzzle to help ensure that the body is prepared for pregnancy. Improving weight can help a woman's body prepare for pregnancy, and then can help a man's ability to create strong sperm for fertilization. The focus for health changes during preconception is usually focused on the woman. However, sometimes we don't consider how a healthy diet in a man can also play a role in this puzzle.
I think you made some really good points, Erica, how, sometimes we think that perhaps it's more of just a women's issue, that, women have to be the ones that are eating healthy, that are sleeping well, that carry like really good lifestyle changes. However, there's lots of research to show that it is also something that the men can contribute to as well.
Yes, definitely.
Right. Erica, let's talk a little bit about outcomes. So how can a healthy diet prepare someone for good outcomes, either preconception and then even thereafter?
So a healthy diet can prepare both the mother and the baby in different outcomes. For example, we know decreasing the risk of gestational diabetes in mothers, decreasing the risk of childhood obesity from babies who are born to mothers at a healthy weight, decreasing the risk of something called fetal macrosomia, which is basically just a medical term for having a baby that's larger than average, which can itself cause risk for cesarean sections or other complications. Healthy weight during pregnancy and before can also be known to have some improvements for lactation performance once the baby is born.
Very good points, Erica. Thank you. So Erica, you made some really good points as to why having a healthy diet and weight is essential for preconception, pregnancy, and then thereafter, for lactation purposes. Let's talk a little bit about what would be the ideal weight for men and women, and then we'll talk a little bit about how to achieve that.
So a little bit about that. So the goal would be to achieve a healthy weight in a sustainable form. This is going to improve your health, your physical health, not only that, but also your mental health. You want to be at a point where you're going to be loving your body, loving yourself, and be able to have these long-term sustainable changes. These are changes that you would want to continue for a longer period of time, and not just in the preconception or pregnancy phase.
I like that point, because sometimes we try to make urgent changes or changes just for that moment, but instead I think people should look at a healthy lifestyle and how to achieve that long term. So I really like that idea.
Absolutely. So a goal of healthy weight can be aiding to balance in hormone levels. For a man, for example, this can mean with increased weight can come lower levels of testosterone and higher levels of estrogen. So both of these can affect fertility. Having a healthy weight, which is within a range between higher than 19 and lower than 30, can improve these factors. So this is just another piece of the fertility puzzle. A healthy weight for a woman can mean that you are helping create a supportive environment for your baby's growth journey. The Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics actually recommends having a weight loss goal of 5% as a step for you to achieve a healthy weight and start seeing improvements. So for example, this is if your BMI is over 30. So as an example, if you are 5'7" and you weigh 200 pounds, your BMI is going to be just over 31. So in order for us to achieve that healthy goal, we want to have a 5% weight loss goal. So let me break it down a little bit. I know it can be a little confusing with the numbers. So 5'7", 200 pounds, the goal would be to lose 5% of that body weight. 5% of 200 pounds is 10. So the goal to start seeing health benefits may start at having a goal to lose 10 pounds. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the important thing is to have this a sustainable manner, and definitely, like you mentioned, not something quick. You know, we're not here for a quick fix. We want to make sure that these changes are sustainable and gradual over time. And in that way also, we were talking about overweight, but another thing to consider is being underweight. So if you fall under those BMI categories, it's the same aspect of trying to gain at least a 5% weight gain in order to achieve some of those health benefits.
I like that, because when you think about 5%, it doesn't seem like something so difficult, so huge, so drastic, you know. And so, like you said, the example of like when somebody would be 200 something pounds, the ideal kind of thing to do would be to lose 10. Very good points. Thank you. So Erica, you said the ideal thing to do is to lose weight or gain weight gradually. What does gradual mean?
So gradually actually means ideally, whether you lose or gain, having a goal of 1 to 2 pounds a week. Anything more than that may be attributed to fluid or, you know, some other factors that we want to try to avoid, because we want this to be done in a healthy manner. So 1 to 2 pounds a week.
Yeah, and I think 1 to 2 pounds is probably something sustainable, nothing too drastic where it might like unmotivate someone.
Absolutely.
Very good points.
Going off along that too, to find some resources for dietitians, right, you can go to eatright.org, and they have a section where you can find an expert, kind of like what you mentioned, Priscilla. You type in your zip code and you can find a registered and licensed dietitian to help you in your needs specifically. You can also talk to a provider to see if there's any referrals or references that they can provide you. The eatright.org website is also going to have some pretty credible resources for nutrition information as well.
That's a great resource. To add on to the resources, if you guys don't follow us on Instagram or Facebook, please do so. We are at HRC Fertility. I have a couple of videos on there on how to manage stress, but you're also going to find a lot more fertility related content that might be useful to you and your journey. You can also check us out on our website at havingbabies.com for a lot more resources. And then the last resource I want to recommend is Resolve. Resolve is an organization that has a bunch of fertility courses, free referrals. You know, there's a bunch of Q&As that might be helpful for you and your journey. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much, Erica, for joining me today. I really appreciate you joining us.